Unless you've been living under a rock for the past few days, then you would not have heard about this outrage on Travis Scott's Astro World performance. And I don't think I really need to go into too much more detail about that for the people that already know exactly what happened. I just sort of want to throw in my 2 cents into the mix to kind of give my opinion on. I know I don't hold a lot of weight in the internet space, and it'll probably just go under the radar, especially on a channel this size. But Travis Scott is taking heat for apparently not stopping his concert while people are, or were rather, in trouble and potentially inciting that he got mad that a 14-year or a young kid, I don't know exactly how old, probably 14, I think people were saying, tried to steal his shoes, and he got all upset and told the crowd to beat him up, and I don't think anything came out of that, thank God. But he told the crowd to beat that kid up, and then once people actually started fainting and falling over and passing out from crowd crush, he didn't do anything. He didn't really seem to care too much about his fans or the audience when they were seemingly in trouble and hurting and dying. And apparently, because some clips have surfaced of the Foo Fighters and I think Avenged Sevenfold, and also Linkin Park, when they found, because I know the clip of Linkin Park and Avenged Sevenfold, somebody fainted or got hurt or something at each of those concerts, and they, both Linkin Park and Avenged Sevenfold respectively, stopped performing to make sure that this fan was okay and not hurt. And in the case of Avenged Sevenfold, they actually stepped off stage for a few minutes, I guess, to let everyone sort of not only so they can take a break, but I assume so that the fan can kind of catch their breath from what just happened. And in the case of Linkin Park, Chester kind of told everyone, when somebody falls, pick them up, make sure they're okay and all that stuff. And you can really tell that those two groups really care about their fans. And with in the case of the Foo Fighters, Dave Grohl saw someone, I guess this guy was throwing fists, hitting someone, and he had them thrown out of the concert because obviously, you don't want to see people fighting at your show. You want to see people having a good time and enjoying themselves. And when something like that happens, when they either pass out or they start a fight, I would imagine as a performer that something like that happens, and especially in the case of Travis Scott, that kind of doesn't make you look good when you just let it happen. So, in all three of those cases, in the case of, the Foo Fighters and Avenged Sevenfold and Linkin Park respectively, they halted the show, they made sure everyone was okay, and then they continued on with their shows, which is what a person who actually cares about their fans would do, and the safety of their fans would do. And The one thing I don't like about this whole situation is the apology video that Travis Scott made after this, all of these reports came out, and all these videos and all this stuff kind of came to light. Travis Scott made this sort of half-hearted, actually I'd say quarter-hearted apology to everybody that got hurt and unfortunately lost their lives at the show, and not a lot of people were buying it. I wasn't buying it, and especially after that video surfaced of him telling everyone to beat the crap out of this kid who tried to steal his shoes, which I find to be very stupid. To me, that you just lose so much respect for doing stuff like that. If you can see, and there was at one point when he was up on an elevated platform looking out over at the audience, so if you see something, especially from higher up, especially 10 feet up on above the already elevated stage, you would think you could see a lot better and see everything that's going on and just sort of make sure everything is going smoothly, because obviously you don't want to see anyone die at your concert, because again, if someone does die at your concert, that really doesn't make you look too good as a performer or even a public figure when something like that happens. It's just genuinely something that a good person would do, is to make sure that everyone that's involved, everyone at the concert is comfortable, safe, having a good time. That's just sort of a basic human thing, right? Is you would want to make sure everyone is part of the responsibility, yes, is on the venue, that everyone is safe and having a fun time, but it's also the rest of the responsibility of the performer or performers, that the audience and the crowd is having a good time and is safe, because after all, there would be no concert without the performers, or rather, sorry, there would be no concert without the people in the audience who paid to be there. So obviously, if you have paid a lot of money, especially to be at a place like Astro World, I'm sure that's not a cheap place to be. I'm sure tickets are not cheap to go to a place like Astro World. Yeah, $350 for and up. So I would imagine $350 is for the cheapest ticket, and then it only just goes up from there. So if you're paying $350 for the cheapest nosebleed ticket that you can get, you want to be safe and sort of have that sort of assurance that nothing bad will happen, because not only does anything bad like what just happened with Travis Scott, not only does that make the performer look bad, but that also makes the venue and the actual concert as a whole look bad, because just not a good look for Travis Scott, really. I mean, I was never a big fan of him to begin with. Couple songs of his I kind of tolerated, but after this, I don't think I'll be a much of a fan of his anymore. Excuse me. Not that I was previous to this event, but this current event certainly did not help in the department of me enjoying his whole get up and his whole performance and stuff. This whole thing just makes Travis look like a absolute bag of trash. And the whole situation could have been handled so much better than it was. There were people who tried to get this concert stopped, and because of the people that were passing out and apparently rushing the stage, I guess. So the whole thing could have been prevented had somebody stepped in, and a lot of people are looking at Travis Scott to have prevented this from being any worse than it was. Thank God it wasn't any worse than it was, but the whole event could have been prevented if Travis had actually made everyone stop and kind of spread out so that the medical professionals and security could step in and do their jobs and potentially save some of the people that unfortunately lost their lives at that concert. So again, not a good look for Astro World, and really not a good look for Travis Scott in that case. So yeah, on that note, I think I'll end the video here, and until next time, peace.